So, who does actually want to take the job, and what will it take to succeed in this crucial position? Who better to ask than a former national security advisor himself? I'm joined now by retired General Jim Jones. He served in that role during the Obama administration. General Jones, thanks very much for joining us. There was a report this week that you are being considered for the position of national security advisor under President Trump. Have you had contacts with the Trump White House, and is it a position you would consider?
No, I have not had any contact with the White House, and I think that I've had my tour in the barrel, but I'd be very happy to offer any advice to anybody to the person that does take the job, because it's so very important.
Well, President Trump is meeting with some possible candidates this weekend. I'll just run through them for our viewers. You may know John Bolton. He's the former UN ambassador. General H.R. McMaster, experienced military commander. The former Lieutenant General Robert Caslen, as well as the acting National Security Advisor Keith Kellogg. From your experience knowing these people, who might work best in a Trump administration?
Well, I don't want to handicap that race by picking a candidate, but I will tell you that all four seem to have the requisite qualifications, and that is to be steeped in geopolitics, to be a strategic thinker, and to be able to coordinate the interagency in such a way that it can be most useful to the president. The national security is not the province of any one department anymore. It's several agencies that have to sit at the table to discuss the important issues that are of our time. So it's got to be someone who is a strategic thinker. It's got to be someone who understands that the strategic coordination of the interagency is very important. And above all, I think someone who can resist and cause the NSC to resist getting involved in the tactical operations of our efforts around the world.
Let me ask you this, because beyond qualifications, it's our reporting that one reason Vice Admiral Bob Harward turned down the job this week is that it wasn't clear to him what the chain of command was. He wanted a direct line to the president. There are some questions about the role that Steve Bannon plays in the White House. How crucial is it for a national security advisor to be, in effect, in charge of these issues, have a direct line to the president, have his own staff, his or her own staff? How important is that to being successful in this job?
I think it's very important. The National Security Advisor sits as the chairman of one of the four committees, the Principals Committee, one of the four committees that keys up the issues just before the full NSC, where the president is present. So the National Security Advisor has to have direct access to the president. Obviously, you keep the appropriate people informed, the vice president, the chief of staff, and so on and so forth. But that relationship has got to be very strong and very direct. And I also think the National Security Advisor has to have the confidence of the cabinet members, and has to be fully aware of what their views are on each of the important subjects that are being discussed. So access and confidence, trust and confidence on the part of the president for that National Security Advisor is absolutely key.